Yo, what's up guys? TS Games here, coming at you with another Teacher Friend. This is number 4, I think. Yeah, number 4. Yeah, so, anywho, so the lesson I'm teaching this week is on self-reliance, which, yet again, I am literally I'm probably the worst person to teach this subject, being as, I'm still a child. Can I help you? What are you doing, computer? Okay. Anyway, I'm still a child. I still live at home. This is my bedroom at my house, you know, where I live with the rest of my family and don't have a job and am only sort of going to school. I'll go to school later, but you know. So, I'm not the best person to teach on self-reliance, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, anywho, the way we're being taught here is that there are 6 principles of self-reliance. Those are education, health, employment, home storage, finances, and spiritual strength. Now, spiritual strength one, that's the one I'm going to skip, again, to avoid the, religious side of all of this, because I'm not trying to preach my religion over the internet. I could be, but that's not what these videos are about. So, I personally believe that the 2 most important parts of this are employment and finances. Well, and education too. They're all important. But employment and finances, those are the ones that are mostly required to even be able to be self-reliant and all of those things. And it all falls down to employment. You get employed, you make finances. You use those finances to be better with health and education and home storage and all of those things, because all of those things require a wonderful little thing that we need to have called money. And so I personally have none of that, mostly because I do this now. So since I'm doing this, I spent all my money on this. I didn't actually have a savings account, which is a good thing which is a good part of finances and self-reliance, I think. Okay, so anyway, so I'm going to start with employment. There's a little pamphlet here that they're using to help teach us. So I'm going to read the one on employment. Work is the foundation upon which self-reliance and temporal well-being rest. One should prepare for and carefully select a suitable occupation or self-employment that will provide for their own and their family's needs. They should become skilled at their jobs, be diligent and trustworthy, and give honest work for the pay and benefits they receive. So what it wants you to do, what it wants everyone to do, is to find a job. That's the first thing you need to do, which, for a lot of jobs you need an education to get, but, you have to have a first job somewhere. You'll work at McDonald's or work in fast food or something somewhere. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't be prideful in a sense where you should be willing to take any job you can get, because money is important. Right now, I'm applying all over everywhere, and if I have to work at McDonald's, then fine. Sure. I don't care. I'm sure there are people who work at McDonald's that I'd make good friends with. But I was going to say that's beside the point, but it is the point. So, find a job. I'm sure there's one out there somewhere. And make sure that regardless of what do you want, phone. Anywho, so regardless of what job you're doing, even if you don't like the job, even if you just hate it, make sure you are working to the best of your ability. Make sure you're doing honest work in everything that you're doing there, so that you can, you don't want to, that's a word I can't use because it's technically a swear word. It's a phrase that basically means you only do the bare minimum, or you do even just under the bare minimum. You don't want to do that. You want to always go above and beyond in the things that you're doing. And now that you have a job, now you can start working with finances, which is the other really, really important part, because finances are required to be fully self-reliant in the rest of these things. So self-reliance, to make sure you're becoming financially self-reliant, make sure to avoid unnecessary debt. You don't want to, max out credit cards and then pay off those credit. I don't exactly know what all these terms mean because I don't have a credit card. So you don't want to spend all this money with your credit card and then get loans from your bank to pay off your credit cards, because then you have to pay off those loans, and then you end up further and further in debt, and you dig yourself deeper into debt to try and pay off the last credit card you maxed out, you know. And so it's just avoid it. Just do everything you can to make sure you don't get into debt, because it will ruin you. It just does. And it's very, very hard to dig out of once you've dug yourself into it. So also make sure that you're saving money. Make sure you're putting money every month, every paycheck, put a certain amount into savings, because should you somehow lose all your money by, you know, one situation or another, you have something to fall back on. I've only had one job. I worked at a scout camp. Most of you know that by now. I worked there for the summer and made about $900. I put $300 out of savings, and I haven't touched it since. And I'm not going to touch it until I really, really need it. And so, next, I guess, is education. So to get a real job, so to speak, to put yourself in a career where you are making stable money and you're living on your own, and you're able to live by yourself and provide for your own family, you know, and your own offspring and all that, you're going to need an education for the most part. It's really, really difficult. It's going to be really difficult to do any of that without an education. So you want to just make sure that when you're studying in school and college, or whatever degree you're going for, make sure you're choosing a degree that suits your interests. You don't want to just pick some random one. You want to pick something that suits your interests, and then you want to try and find a job in that. You want to try and find a job in that category too, so that you are, well, basically they say that if you're happy with your job, if you're happy in what you do, you'll never have to work a day in your life, or something like that. It's a misquote from something that I have no idea what it is. But the point of that is that what you need is that you need to be working in a field that you're enjoying, because if you hate your job, you're not going to do a good job at it. It's going to be very difficult to actually perform well in a job that you hate. And so if you're happy with your job, then you'll perform better in it, and you'll be happy doing it. And if you're happy doing it, then you're just happy in general, and happiness is better than not happiness. And so, I mean, there are other factors that make happiness dwindle that don't have to do with jobs, but that's a whole nother issue that's not really relevant here. So, let's see, I covered finances, employment, and education. So home storage, that's something my mom used to do. That used to be her calling in our church, was to, I don't know what it was called, but basically she has all these cans. She buys all this dry food in bulk, then she fills the cans, and then she seals the cans, and now the cans are in her closet, and I'm pretty sure all of them are from like 2010. I'm not sure if that food is still edible, but you know, it'll help you when the zombie apocalypse happens, you know. And so all those things also require money, because you have to buy the food that you're canning, and you have to buy the materials and the supplies necessary to actually store food. And I think in the home storage section here, I think it talks about creating like a 3-month supply of food that's part of your normal diet, store drinking water, and, you know, gradually build up to a longer term supply. And health is the last one. That's the one that I personally, you know, and I'm sure it's important. Obviously, it wouldn't be here. I personally don't really follow it as best as I maybe should be, but that's beside the point. Anywho, I'm going to read the thing on health now. It says we're supposed to take care of our minds and bodies. We should be eating nutritious food, exercising regularly, and get adequate sleep. I do get adequate sleep, just kind of at the wrong hours. You know, I sleep a lot, but mostly those time periods go from 2 o'clock in the morning to noon. That's enough sleep. That's plenty of sleep, but, you know, wrong time of day. I should maybe adjust that. That's irrelevant. Anywho, you should also practice sanitation and hygiene, and be able to obtain adequate medical and dental care. That's also where finances come in, because you need those in order to obtain the medical and dental care. I personally haven't been to the dentist in, it's been a while. I don't even remember it, but that's beside the point. My teeth aren't falling out, so I'm okay. Anywho, so I've taught all the principles of self-reliance. I've explained why it's important, so I guess all there really is to do now is leave this video here. So leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with all of your friends. And our next lesson is on, let me go check that out real quick. I don't remember. Is on work. Well, that's good, because right in this pamphlet here it says that work is the foundation upon which self-reliance and temporal well-being rest. So work is important. So we'll get into that. But until then, you guys just enjoy yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. All right? Bye-bye.